This is Lewis up for Boxing Social in association with Empire Fighter Store. Delighted to be joined with a real deal. So Dacres, yeah, just fresh from sparring, jumped on Zoom with me.
Yeah,
But before we get into all of that, how's things, mate? How are you?
yeah, all good, man. Just in the gym, same old grind, doing the same old business. So let's see, here we are, man, in the gym, getting the work in.
Yeah, absolutely. As you say, sort of just ticking over, I'd assume, before a big fight, hopefully before yourself, before the end of the year. But
Yeah,
yeah, I guess
yeah.
it's been a couple of months now, and since obviously the Webster rematch, and it's just I guess it's really been ticking over. But how have you found that since I guess just ticking over, and after a big one like that, hopefully wanting something massive next.
Yeah, yeah. Just want to move on. Like I said, got the job done in the last one. Just looking to, push on to the next one, get further titles, hopefully hunt down the British title. I've had the English for a bit now, so just move on to the next.
Absolutely, we'll get into all of that. But just sort of just touching on the Webster rematch there, was it good to sort of right that wrong, like remove any doubt that there was from the
Yeah,
first fight?
yeah, definitely. Because it's all well and good me saying, I wasn't fit, I wasn't in shape for that one. Bad performance, this, that, and the other. But I've got to show that when I am in shape, what I am capable of. Even if in my head I know there's so much more, I had to go out there and prove it. And I did just that. I was in proper shape and show what I'm capable of.
How important do you think that performance was to remind everyone of what you can do? As you say, like a lot of people took things away from that first Webster fight and had their own opinion. So was it important to show people, look, I am the real deal and I know what I can do?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like just show, like if I'm in proper training, proper fitness, not late notice, that's where my advantages are, because I train hard, I'm extremely fit, conditioned, and sharp. They're my advantages. So, we take that away because I wasn't too sharp and that, taking away a lot of my advantages, which comes through my training. Um, and I showed I got the power as well, dropped him twice and stopped him.
Definitely. And yeah, just sort of moving on, I guess, and sort of you saying there about wanting sort of the big fight towards the end of the year. Is that ideally what you're hoping for, sort of getting out before Christmas?
Yeah, yeah, I'd like to get out before Christmas. It's always good to fight before Christmas. Fighters will
Yeah.
say, they can enjoy the Christmas more. Than waiting around having to. I still always training. Don't get me wrong, but you just have a little bit of a weight off your shoulders. Especially if you just fought before Christmas, you can have a little breather. Like I said, tick over and get a good finish to the year.
For yourself, I know that there's been two proposed dates for this fight. I think three proposed dates actually. But when it comes to David Adelaide, do you think that fight is still there? Like still a fight that you'd like?
I'd like if you could get in the ring. I'd already signed and ready for that fight. I was in there, I was ready to deliver. So, from my part, if he can guarantee he gets in there, no problem. But he's obviously messing me around a long time, couple of dates, this, that, and the other. So I can't rely on him, and say I'm gonna definitely fight him because I thought I was definitely gonna fight him in the first place. But it might still be on the cards if they can get it sorted again, maybe. But I'm just gonna. It's out of my hands. This one, you know what I mean. So I'm just gonna be ready to fight.
Do you think, as you say, like, you signed for 2 days against him, obviously the March and the July date, and that hasn't been able to fulfill. Is there any part of you, I guess, for yourself, like you don't want to train for him again and it happen again? I know that after the Webster rematch, you had that back and forth. I think it was on our channel, yourself going back at it, himself and yourself going back at it. But ideally, there's that fight is there for you, but is it sort of part of you, you do take with apprehension for what happened before?
Well, yeah. Look what's happened already. So I can't just solely focus on him. I've got to just focus on being the best that I can be and improving myself. And like I said, just keep looking forward. If it is him, jump in the ring. Let's get it on. If it's not, I'm going to be prepared for the next one.
Definitely. There was one thing I did want to get your thoughts on. Obviously, the weekend just gone. Fabio Wardley stopping Frazer Clarke in a comprehensive fashion in the first round. I think nobody expected it to go that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. What were your thoughts on the fight for however long it lasted?
Yeah, it didn't last too long, did it? But fair play. Wardley came forward. He does what he does. Started swinging. Caught Fraser. Fraser was backed into the corner. He probably first round probably was a bit lackadaisical. He was backed up into the corner, probably not switched on too much. And Wardley just came and swung over the top, hit him with a shot, turned him, and Maybe Fraser expecting the ref to break it when Fabio turned him, but the ref said carry on, and Fraser's turned back around. He's got a right hand in the head, and then he's got another one to finish the job. You can't switch off at any moment in these fights. If you can't expect the ref to break. I know it might have been first round. He's probably still thinking I'm feeling myself out, but Fabio had other plans, and fair play. He just went for it.
One thing I wanted to ask you, you spent a lot of time with Fraser, done a lot of rounds with him when you was both on Team GB
Yeah,
together,
yeah,
and he's had a long career, whether it may not be as a pro, but as an amateur,
yeah,
he was on
yeah,
the setup for like 10 years, and
yeah,
suffering a defeat like this, like, and I know it's not right to sort of kick a man while he's down, but do you think
yeah, yeah.
that Fraser has to have a look at his future after a fight like that?
Yeah, obviously it's up to him to see how he feels. Like he said, he has been in the game a long time, not as long as a pro, but in the amateurs, and it does take its toll on you, this the boxing game. And there was obviously damage to his face, which looked quite bad at the time. We've heard now that it should be all right, but it's how that will react again to fighting and how he feels, his confidence. But like I say, it's a dangerous game, and you've got to have a team around you that looks at as a fighter. You're always going to want to carry on and keep going. So you've got to see what the people around you are saying, and just have a balanced mindset for it.
Definitely, and it's only right, I guess, after that to talk about yourself. I think your name's definitely been thrown into the mix for a potential opponent for Fabio Wardley. Also, you hold the English title, and it was something you actually called for, like when around this time last year when you knocked out David Adeleye. You was obviously in Saudi,
Yeah,
and there was a
I've been wanting Fabio. I've been wanting that fight, man. But he's ducking and diving, doing whatever. Fought Fraser. They got the draw, so they had to do that again. Then he might go on and vacate. I don't know, man. But I'm still trying to get on his tail, man.
yeah. I was going to say, do you think that that's a realistic fight to make? I know Fabio sort of spoke about potentially moving on from the British title, but he mentioned it wanting to win it outright. So realistically, you think that's definitely a fight that's possible?
Yeah, hopefully, I'm all get all systems go for that one, and hopefully, it'll be something that we could get on.
Mhm. For yourself, the British title is, it's a big honor. Do you think it feels better that someone like Fabio Wardley holds it, where he is like, if you look at it, he's sort of beaten most of the domestic guys, so you know that if you're going in there, regardless of the British title, you're challenging yourself as well.
Yeah, yeah, and you'll get your credit for it. You'll get your credit for beating a current champion. You've got to be the champion. You've got to beat the champion, and that's what we want.
Out of interest, like, what do you make of Wardley as a fighter? Like, if you're honestly looking at him, obviously he had the white collar background and this and that. What do you make of Wardley as a fighter?
Yeah, I mean, technically, he's boxing. He's not the most technical boxer, but he can punch a bit, and he's game, and he seems to have a bit of power, and he seems to have a bit of fighting spirit about him, which is something you can't take away from someone in the pro game. So he's doing well. He's doing well for himself. Especially coming from the white collar background. But I just feel like I can be the one to give him a boxing lesson.
I was going to say that with your style and your experience, that do you think that plays factor and you're all wrong for him?
Definitely, because I've got a better boxing ability, but I'm also tough, very fit, rugged, durable, all these things. I ain't got to show it too much because I've been outboxing my opponents, but these are things that I've got in my bank that people from in the gym and who've known me over the years will know about me. But the pro audience won't know because I've not had to go to war with anybody and dug it out really. But that's where I thrive more. I only have to bring it out if I really have to be dragged into it, and someone like Fabio could be the one to do that.
Mhm. And for yourself, I know Fabio is is a big aim for yourself. You say the British title, but you are a heavyweight and you are Simon Queensberry. Like literally, they've got almost every sort of top heavyweight. So
Yeah.
hopefully, there's a lot of in-house fights to be made. Like Wardley is obviously the main one, but there is sort of in-house fights in general that you could look at.
Yeah, yeah, that's why I signed with Queensberry, because some people like to be like, away from the competition and think it's too competitive. But that's where you want to be because there's more fights to be made. You get more chance of getting the big fights if you're in a stable with other, good fighters in your division. And it makes it easier to make those big fights. And that's why I'm with Queensberry.
Mhm. Definitely. And just before I do sign off, there was one thing I did want to get your thoughts on as well. Obviously a guy that you spent a lot of time with in GB, both from the same area. Like, Ben Whittaker's obviously getting a lot of critics at the moment.
Yeah, yeah.
What do you make of I guess the critics of Whittaker? It shows it's a thick sport. One day you're the next big thing. Then now it's sort of people are writing you off. Like, what do you make of obviously spending time with Whittaker and being around him? I
Yeah, Ben
guess.
was, one of my best friends, off the GB squad, we're roommates, that's my boy Ben. This is the thing with pro boxing. When things are going good, or you get the fans behind you, it's great. And then something don't go your way, they're soon to kick you when you're down. And that's just the way boxing fans are. They're very fickle. So at the end of the day, it was a bizarre ending. The fight was not finished, so we don't know how the fight was going. Just because Ben it was scored a draw. Started very sharp. Yeah, the guy had a little bit of more success. He was starting to get a bit more success, but the fight was far from over. So, boxing fans love to speculate
Yeah.
this, that, and the other happened. You know what I mean? But the fight ended. Obviously it was a bizarre situation. I don't know what happened. I don't know, what the injuries, bro, and this, that, and the other. So I'm not gonna speculate. They just have to rematch it and get it on and see what happens there.
Yeah, I was going to say do you find it weird? Because obviously you just sort of seen him in tournaments and amateur tournaments, and when everyone sort of calls him a quitter and this and that, I think anyone looks in Ben's career, like in not even just as in pro so far, but even in the amateur tournaments and the Olympics where he was sort of facing, no one ever saw like that, he was one guy that he could dog it out, you know what I mean? So do you think it's weird to say that for people who, look for his career, he's never shown that
Yeah,
once?
yeah, yeah. You don't like I said, the pro audience, they're just very, very hype, they just go off one little thing and everyone jumps on it straight away. Um, and they don't have the facts to back it up all the time. So like I don't know, what his injury is or how bad it is. So, you just gotta hope that he's all right and gets back in the ring, because at the end of the day, he's giving every fighter's getting in that ring and giving the fans the entertainment. They're not giving they're coming to watch you. So they people like Ben are great for boxing because he's an entertainer. That comes with both sides. They come to entertain. You got your supporters, and you're gonna have your haters as well. But you know what? They're all tuning in and talking about him.
Yeah, 100%, that's for sure. Sol, as always, great to see you, mate. Always good to speak to you. And
Yeah,
yeah, hopefully all the best. Hopefully before the end of the year, we'll get to see you fight and
yeah,
hopefully get a big fight against Fabio Wardley, mate. Appreciate it all the
yeah.
time, man.
Hopefully, man. Thank you very much, man.
Top
Take it
man.
easy.
Thank you.